How about that thumbnail? I was really proud of that one. I'm not stoned, but I did that for you, because Steve cares. So first things first, what do you think of that thumbnail? Because I am pretty freaking proud of that. I think it's my best thumbnail yet. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like it, subscribe. And if you don't like it, tell me why you hate it and subscribe so you can say something that's a dick move again next time. But without further ado, I have a ton of messages and people wanting to learn more about marijuana stocks. Now, these people are they could be people who already have some investing knowledge or just hardcore potheads who are thinking about investing for the first time, which is awesome. You know, whatever it takes, if it's going to get you into the market for the first time and making moves that could possibly help your financial future, that's why we're here. So, without further ado, I've done some research. I've put together 4 companies I think are definitely worth looking at. And just a quick search of marijuana stocks on the NASDAQ. I have this list here, and this shows you the name of the company here on the left. And in the middle, you have your total return year to date. That means how it's performed since the beginning of 2019. The total percent of return in the last 12 months, over the last 365 days, obviously, and the return in the last 3 years. Now, whether you have any investment knowledge or knowledge on the stock market at all, tell me what this chart means to you. We have about, about 15 different companies listed here, and the trend between these 15 companies is half of them are up and doing really well. The other half are down and really doing not well at all. And, you know, we start with Zynerba Pharmaseuticals that has a 62% year-to-date return, that's phenomenal. You have Cara Therapeutics, a smaller company that has a 76% return. That's amazing. And then if you go down and look at Zynerba Pharmaseuticals, it has a 200-some% return. That is just freaking mind-boggling. But you also have some big losers in this group too. So what that tells me about the marijuana industry as a whole for an investment opportunity is it's really up or down. It's hit or miss, right? I mean, you have half of your companies that are doing really well, and you have the other half that are doing really not well. And with a new emerging industry like marijuana, and with whether it be medicinal or recreational use, there's going to be a lot more regulation. A lot of things are going to change quickly, and it's not really going to be like the bread and butter, safe, hedged investment that it would be investing in blue chip normal stocks. But those normal stocks do not have nearly the type of growth capability that these do, especially with the way the world's changing. I mean, it is what it is, whether you were for it or against it. Marijuana is a $50 billion a year industry right now. And as more states start to legalize it and move in the direction of medicinal or recreational use at a state level, that's all going to change. And it's definitely, you can't ignore it anymore. I mean, the marijuana industry is here. Times are changing, and whether you're Cheech and Chong or you hate the idea of it, it's not going anywhere. So, as far as an investment opportunity, let's dig into a couple of these companies and see what we can figure out. Okay, so here we're looking at Zynerba Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. And first thing you need to realize about anything that's an emerging industry like marijuana is right now is you're going to find stocks, they're considered growth stocks. You know, they have the ability to grow larger, but these aren't big established companies, so they aren't going to be, very rarely will you find that they're out paying big dividends and that it's a buy and a hold typical type of investment that you would see with, you know, your blue chip stocks. These are growth stocks. So we're looking at Zynerba Pharmaceuticals. Just today it closed trading up 4%, which is great. It's got a $2.665 billion market cap, so it's a decent sized company. It does not pay out a dividend, and in the past 365 days, this company has traded between $31.97 and $64.48. So if we take a look at this chart here. Okay, so here's the 1 year look at this company. Here's where we are right now, closed at 50 at 348. And that's a sharp decline here in the past week. We've dropped down about $7 per share. I don't know if that's regulation, if it is, and I'm not sure if that has to do with new regulations in the marijuana industry or if it's a product of the trade war where everything's kind of going crazy right now. We go across, it's remained pretty consistent in July, where it was at its peak, trading in the 60s, and that was up incredibly from the end of June and into May. And earlier, when this stock was just climbing like crazy, coming up from in March where it was trading at $43 per share, and it just keeps on climbing, and it's in the 60s 3 months later. So, okay, that's a really good performing stock there. That's a company that for part of the year has done really, really well, and the long-term prediction for any marijuana stock, I would say you would have to be bullish on it. Okay, next, this is Cara Therapeutics Incorporated. This is a smaller company than Arena was, with a just over $1 billion market cap. This also pays no dividend out, and the company trades on an average volume of almost 1 million shares per day. But, you know, a lot of times volume is, especially on the ins and outs, and this is probably a decently traded stock by swing traders and by day traders and things like that. It's a cheaper stock, so people are going to buy more shares. There's going to be more volume in some cases. But in the last 52 weeks, so in this year, it's traded between $12 and $27 per share, and it shows a pretty similar pattern in 1 year as the other company. It was in the lowest last December, and then it climbed throughout the winter time, and it just kept on climbing until July, when all of these marijuana companies went freaking nuts, and they were all trading at their highest, and there's been a little cool off lately. And this is just a smaller company. I mean, still, you're looking at this, and the overall outlook would be it's probably overpriced for what it is, but there is so much hype right now in that space and in that sector of this new marijuana companies that it's outperforming what most other industries would be doing, and that's just kind of what we're looking at here. Okay, so this is Zynerba. That's the one that had a 263% return in this year, and it's a very small cap stock, just about $254 million. But in this year, it has traded between $2.75 and $16.47. I mean, that's a big stretch. And we look at the chart here for the year. In December, when it was at its lowest, it was trading under $3. Then it climbed a little bit, it evened off, and then between spring and summertime, it started to climb sharply. And it just kept on climbing until we got to the beginning of July, and then it pretty quickly dropped. So, you know, a lot of times with stocks like this, there will be people that see all this hype, so they'll buy in up here. You know, there are people that bought in at $15. And then, you know, a week later, 2 weeks later, you're trading at $6 less per share. So these people are just dumping and getting out of it, and they're losing a ton of money. And that is kind of the problem with these new industries, is there is even more emotionally based trading than you find with most typical stocks. If people don't know, you know, there isn't enough history to establish trends and see what's happening. Any day there could be new legislation or some kind of new limitations for these producers and growers or whatever it is that's going to make things much tougher, especially for a small company. $254 million. It's a small cap company. It's not a huge big boy, and it's trading almost 2 million shares a day. So this company is getting a lot of play. There are a ton of speculation on it. Traders are in and out constantly, but you know, at a 263% year-to-date return is going to draw a lot of attention because everybody wants that stock that's going to blow up, and they've gotten in low, and then they're just going to enjoy the ride to the top. You know, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. It happens all the time. Is it likely? No, it's not. This is a baby in a company, basically swimming in a sea of big companies that are performing well too. You know, if I could buy Zynerba, or if I could buy Arena, which is the much bigger, more well-established company that has a market cap that's 10 times higher, I would buy the bigger company. And that's just because in a new space, I would rather be able to trust the company I'm investing in, if that makes sense. You're basically hoping that with their leadership, their ideals, and their place in the market, that they're going to be able to survive when the little guys start dying off. And I think with marijuana, that's something that's really important because there is a lot of risk, and you're buying growth stocks, and growth stocks can go either way. And you're really not protected in the middle, you know? It's not like you're being paid a dividend either way, like you would with a typical blue chip stock. Okay, now for something a little bit different. This is a real estate investment trust, or REIT, and what that is it's a collection of real estate properties that are bundled together and they're open for investing. And there are a couple really attractive points to bring you in towards REITs, and number one is an REIT by law has to pay out 90% of its profits to the stockholders as a dividend. So that is huge, especially in an area of growth like the marijuana industry. And that's why I like this REIT so much. It's Innovative Industrial Properties Incorporated with the ticker symbol IIPR. And you see right now it's trading at $107 a share. In the last year, it's gone between $34.25 a share all the way up to probably $139.53, and is trading at an average amount of volume, about 500,000 shares a day. And that's typical for an REIT that doesn't get as much play as a stock. But here's the cool thing about this. While it has grown dramatically, I mean, we're talking $34 up to $139 at one point, this REIT, and the best thing about them, they pay out dividends. Really nice dividends. And there's a lot of good fundamental news on this REIT. They're constantly adding new properties to their portfolio, so it's just growing over time. And really, unless these different marijuana producing facilities stop paying their rent, basically, it's going to keep growing, and they're going to have to keep increasing that dividend. Right now at 2.4%, it's not really your best income stock. I mean, you can get much better returns out there with much safer companies, but they don't have the ability to grow like this does. So this is why I believe everybody should really take a good look at this fund. And you know what, if you want to try, get on a paper trading app, well, something like that. Webull has it, it's cool. Get on paper trading, it's like practice stock market, and buy some of these shares for a while and see how it performs for you before you stick your real money in. I mean, when is a good time to buy in on this? That I couldn't say. I don't know enough about it myself, other than if you would have bought in July, you'd be screwed, because look at the 1 year trading. It's down pretty sharply in July. But looking at the 1 year, in the 1 year, it's climbed very well. But then if you bought into the hype and you bought it in July, and by the end of the month, you had lost pretty significantly. And now it's just kind of climbing back up. Just went up 7.83% today at the end of the market hours. So this is one that's really interesting. Whether you believe in marijuana or not, or if you're so far against it, this is funding the properties that are fueling this marketplace. These are producing facilities and stuff like that. It's an REIT, so they have to pay out 90% of profits to the shareholders in form of a dividend, and it also has a huge potential for growth. If you want to get in on the ground level of the marijuana industry, I would say this is probably a really good place to look at. And then a couple of the other companies we talked at, and there's so many companies out there. I'm only covering 3 today, so definitely worth the time to give it some research and, you know, make the call for yourself. But this one is one that I'm excited about here. This is a position that has the ability to grow, and it's going to pay you a dividend from day one. And like I said, unless these facilities start closing off their doors and shutting down shop, not paying the rent anymore right now, it's much safer than these marijuana companies that really any given day new legislation could shut them down or make it so they can't make money anymore. So definitely worth checking out. The ticker symbol is IIPR for Innovative Industrial Properties. Go tell your friends about it. Tell them you know what an REIT is now, and they will be impressed. So there are 4 companies that are really excited in the emerging industry, which is marijuana, you know, and whether you are Cheech and Chong or you're someone who's against it, it is an opportunity. There is huge growth potential. And so far they've performed well. There was a slight drop in July industry-wide, and there's different news and theories about why that could have happened. But right now what we know is it's growing. It's going to keep growing. The only thing that's questionable is which companies are going to be leading the charge. Because I'll tell you, right now, if 10 years from now there's a clear-cut number one, if you invest in that company now, you are going to have made a lot of money when it's all said and done 10 years from now. Or you can go a safer route, like the REIT we looked at, and you can participate while staying on the safe side in a real estate investment trust. So definitely worth checking out. And the funny thing is with this, you know, I have people that have never invested a day in their life. They've never cared about the stock market. Their extent of experience is watching The Wolf of Wall Street and, you know, and potheads. And all of a sudden, they're looking in and buying stocks, and they want to build portfolios, and they want to invest. Hey, I think that's really cool. Whatever it takes for somebody to get into the market for the first time, go for it, man. So definitely a cool place to be, an interesting prospect. Will it make you rich overnight? No, there's nothing that's going to make you rich overnight, not in my opinion. Nothing that the risk is not just asinine. You shouldn't be replacing your entire portfolio with marijuana. That's probably not a great idea. There are some people that are. And yeah, it's definitely an interesting industry to keep your eye on. And it's not going anywhere, like it or not. It's not. And especially in the coming years with the laws in place, you know, as more states completely legalize it. You know, Canada, it's completely legal for recreational use in Canada right now. And there's also a chance, you know, with the NFL, as they go into their next negotiations for their CBA, there's a chance that the NFL could no longer bar marijuana use. And I think that, and this is my opinion only, I believe that if the NFL does that, a lot of the other states in the country will follow suit. You know, it's kind of crazy to think that a sports league has that much influence, but it does, and I think that's something to look forward to, something to keep your eye on, and that's just my opinion. All this is just my opinion. I'm not a licensed financial planner, but I have some experience, and I try for you. Thanks for watching. Go spark up a doobie, log on to E-Trade or your chosen stockbroker, or Webull. It's free. My referral link is in the description box below, as well as my Acorns, in case you wanted to get started saving a little bit better than a savings account. But none of that is either here nor there. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you got value out of this video. Leave a comment if you have a pot company that you would like to talk about or you'd like me to look into. If you want to look at charts together on it, I would love to do that. Post it down below in the comments. This is the first of many on marijuana stocks because it's so big and it's going to be so relevant as we move forward. And I can't believe how many questions I've had about this, seriously. But like I said, it's really cool. People that have never cared about investing before, you know, now they're genuinely excited about the stock market and this industry. So, hey, whatever it takes, whatever helps you be the best you that you could be, let's go for it. Let's get it. And thanks for watching. So say something nice, say something mean. And if you say something mean, subscribe so you can say something mean again next time. And I will see you then. Good night.